The stars were quiet that night, but in the darkness beyond the Milky Way, something stirred. Edgepoint Observatory had been monitoring signals from deep space for decades, but nothing had prepared humanity for this. A fleet of alien ships had appeared, sleek and sharp, moving with a precision that made even the most experienced astronomers hold their breath. Their presence was not silent. They sent a single warning message, simple and chilling. Leave the galaxy. Do not come closer or face destruction. On Earth, the warning sparked fear, but it also sparked curiosity. Humans had always been explorers, dreamers, and fighters. To step back now, simply because someone or something demanded it, went against their very nature. Scientists argued, politicians debated, but humanity's fleets were already preparing to move. The world watched as President Marlowe addressed the planet, his voice calm but firm. "We seek peace," he said, "but we will not surrender to fear. Humanity will always stand tall in the face of the unknown." Captain Elena Rios stood on the bridge of the SS Vanguard, staring at the endless black. Her crew moved quietly, checking instruments and recalculating trajectories. Elena's heart pounded with a mix of fear and excitement. The warnings from the aliens, known as the Variks, were clear. They were not bluffing, yet she felt a fire within her chest, a stubborn flame that refused to let her turn back. "We have to know," she whispered to herself. "We have to see what's out there." The Variks had been observing the galaxy for centuries. They had cataloged planets, civilizations, and technologies, and they had deemed humanity dangerous, reckless, inventive, unpredictable. Their warning was not just a message, it was a lifeline, an offer of survival if humans simply retreated. But humanity had never been patient. Curiosity was in their blood and courage was in their bones. As the Vanguard approached the alien fleet, something extraordinary happened. A holographic figure appeared before them, shimmering and tall, radiating an almost unbearable presence. The voice reached them, not through speakers but directly into their minds. "Humans," it said with calm authority, "you have been observed. Your nature is volatile. Leave and no harm will come. Stay, and you will be destroyed." Elena felt a chill run through her. Her mind raced with questions. What made these beings so powerful? How could they travel such distances with ease? And why did they fear humanity? She looked at her crew, each one tense, each one staring at her for direction. "We won't leave," she said, her voice steady but her heart racing. "We will meet them. We will speak. And if we must fight, we will fight." The crew nodded, their resolve matching hers. Fear existed, yes, but it did not control them. They were human. They were explorers. They were survivors. Stars stretched endlessly around them, but for the first time, space felt alive, almost aware of the tension growing between two species. Elena knew that this encounter could change everything. She also knew that the choice humanity had made, to ignore the warning, would have consequences far beyond their imagination. Yet, in the quiet of the bridge, as the stars reflected in her eyes, she felt hope too. Hope that the courage of humans, their relentless spirit, and their ability to adapt would not fail them. Humanity had faced the unknown before, and they had always survived. "Prepare to make history," Elena whispered more to herself than anyone else. "The galaxy will remember us, one way or another." And with that, the SS Vanguard and its fleet surged forward into the shadow of the Variks, the tension between fear and curiosity crackling like lightning in the void. Humanity had ignored the warning. Now the future of the galaxy hung in the balance. The first clash came without warning. The darkness of space exploded into light as the Variks opened fire. Lasers tore through the void, slicing human ships with deadly precision. On the bridge of the SS Vanguard, Captain Elena Rios gritted her teeth, feeling the vibrations of nearby explosions through the hull. The warning had been clear. The humans had chosen to ignore it, and now the consequences had arrived. Yet humanity refused to falter. Lieutenant Marco Tan piloted the SS Resolute with skill born of instinct and training. He weaved the ship through an asteroid field, using jagged rocks as shields against the Variks' relentless attacks. With a daring maneuver, he launched missiles that hit a Variks cruiser squarely, detonating it in a silent bloom of fire against the black canvas of space. The Variks paused, momentarily stunned. They had never faced a species so bold, so unpredictable. Every strike, every maneuver by the humans was unplanned, chaotic, and yet perfectly effective. Their strategies, honed over centuries, were crumbling against the ingenuity of a species they had thought weak and reckless. On board the Vanguard, Elena's heart pounded in rhythm with the alarms. Crew members screamed over the intercom as another human ship went down. Losses were mounting, and each one tore at her soul. But she could not allow fear to control her. Humanity had always risen from the ashes, stronger than before. Analyst Juna Patel worked frantically at her console, scanning enemy movements and calculating trajectories. "Captain, they're adapting faster than we predicted. They're shocked by our unpredictability, but if we're not careful, we'll lose more ships in the next strike." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Then we make them even more unpredictable. They think they can control the battlefield? We'll show them humans are not controllable." The human fleet counterattacked with an intensity that made the Variks hesitate. Engineers improvised weapons in real time, turning damaged turrets into makeshift laser cannons. Pilots used erratic, daring flight paths that no algorithm could predict. The humans fought with a ferocity that was not just about survival. It was about pride, courage, and the unyielding flame of their spirit. In the middle of the chaos, Elena remembered a story from her childhood. Her father had told her that humans were like fire, fragile yet unstoppable if they burned bright enough. Now in the heart of battle, she understood the truth of it. Humanity's strength was not in their technology, not in their numbers, but in their spirit. They refused to surrender even in the face of annihilation. As another Variks cruiser fell, Marco let out a whoop of disbelief. Around him, his crew cheered even as other ships were destroyed. It was a mix of grief and triumph, fear and exhilaration. Humanity was bleeding, but they were also proving something undeniable. They were a force that could not be ignored. Elena's mind raced with plans and contingencies. Every move was a gamble, every strike a risk. Yet there was a strange, intoxicating rhythm to the chaos. Humans thrived in it, adapted in ways the Variks could not comprehend. Each victory, small or large, sent a shockwave through the alien fleet. Somewhere deep in the Variks' command, fear flickered. They had faced countless species over millennia, but none had moved like this. None had fought with such reckless brilliance. Humans were not just survivors. They were hunters when cornered, warriors when challenged. Elena stood on the bridge, hands gripping the rail, her eyes reflecting the flashes of destruction outside. She felt a surge of pride for her crew, for her people. Humanity had ignored the warning. They had chosen this path, and now they were proving with every sacrifice that they were not to be underestimated. The battle raged on, but a spark of hope ignited in the hearts of every human, watching the stars explode around them. They were fighting not just to survive, but to show the galaxy the unbreakable courage of humanity. And in that moment, as the Vanguard maneuvered through enemy fire, Elena whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning. They will learn what humans truly are, whether they like it or not." The human fleet was battered, but it had survived the first strike. Ships floated among the wreckage of fallen comrades, hulls scorched, systems sparking. Yet the crew refused to surrender. Captain Elena Rios stood on the bridge of the SS Vanguard, her eyes scanning the field of battle with a mixture of sorrow and determination. Humanity had lost much already, but something inside her told her they could still turn the tide. Lieutenant Marco Tan wiped sweat from his brow as he piloted the Resolute through the debris. "Captain, we can hit their supply lines. If we cut off their fuel and ammunition, we might force them to retreat," he suggested, eyes bright with the thrill of strategy. Elena nodded. "Then that's what we'll do. Assemble the strike teams. We move fast, we hit hard, and we don't give them a chance to recover." Her voice carried a quiet authority that steadied even the most nervous crew. They had seen death up close, but they had also seen hope in the chaos. The humans moved with a speed and coordination the Variks had not anticipated. Small, agile ships darted between larger vessels, striking where the enemy was weakest. Engineers on the fly modified weapons to fire faster. Pilots improvised new maneuvers mid-battle, and soldiers fought with a courage that bordered on madness. Every strike carried the weight of human pride, every victory the memory of those who had fallen. Deep in the alien fleet, the Variks commanders panicked. Their calculations were failing. Every plan they had relied on was being countered with sheer unpredictability. Humanity did not fight by logic alone. They fought by instinct, by heart, and by the unrelenting fire that had always defined them. Elena watched a Varix cruiser explode into fragments, illuminating the void with a brief violent beauty. Her heart ached for the lives lost on both sides, yet she felt a surge of pride. Humanity was alive. Humanity was fighting. Back. Humanity was proving that they would not be controlled or intimidated. In the command center, analyst Juna Patel studied the enemy patterns. Captain, they're not used to improvisation. Every move we make, they struggle to respond. We can exploit this to hit their central nexus. If we succeed, we can cripple their command structure. Elena's lips pressed into a thin line. Then that's our next move. Prepare the strike teams. This is our chance to show the galaxy what humanity is capable of. The crew prepared quietly, hearts heavy but focused. Each human knew the risks. Each human understood that not all would return. Yet in their fear there was courage. In their doubt there was hope. Humanity had always been fragile, but their spirit had never been broken. As they advanced toward the Varix supply convoy, the humans encountered fierce resistance. Alien fighters swarmed from all directions, but the human crews adapted in real time. Pilots looped through asteroid belts, engineers modified turrets to fire in unexpected patterns, and soldiers on every ship coordinated attacks like a single living organism. The convoy erupted in flames. Supplies and fuel were destroyed, leaving the Varix scrambling. For the first time, they were on the defensive. Humanity, once cornered and desperate, was now the hunter. On the Vanguard, Elena allowed herself a brief smile. She had seen her crew at their most vulnerable, their most exhausted, and now she saw them at their strongest. This was the moment humanity had been waiting for. Not just survival, but victory born from ingenuity, courage, and the refusal to give in. She addressed her crew over the intercom, her voice steady and full of pride. They underestimated us. They thought fear would stop us. But humanity does not bow to fear. We fight because we must. We fight because we can. And we fight because the galaxy will know our name. Somewhere in the depths of the Varix fleet, panic had taken root. They had studied countless species over centuries, yet none had moved like this. Humanity was different, dangerous, unpredictable, alive in a way that no algorithm could anticipate. Elena looked at the stars through the viewport, their brilliance now broken by fire and smoke. Humanity had begun to strike back. Humanity had begun to claim the battlefield. And deep in her chest, a fire burned brighter than ever. They would not stop. Not now. Not ever. The human fleet moved forward, battered but unstoppable, proving a truth the galaxy had never fully understood. Humanity fights not just to survive, but to thrive. The battle raged at the center of Varix space. Stars seemed to shiver under the weight of explosions. Ships collided. Missiles streaked like angry comets, and the void was alive with the fire of war. Captain Elena Rios stood on the bridge of the SS Vanguard, her hands gripping the railing as alarms blared all around her. She could feel every vibration of nearby blasts, every shockwave of distant explosions, but she refused to falter. Humanity had come this far. They could not fail now. The Varix fought with terrifying precision. Their weapons cut through human ships like knives through silk, and their fleet moved as one, almost alive, almost unbeatable. But humans had something the Varix could not understand. Courage born from fear, hope born from despair, and creativity born from necessity. Every human pilot, every engineer, every soldier moved with a single goal: to survive, and to show the galaxy that humans could never be predicted. Lieutenant Marco Tan guided the SS Resolute through a field of broken ships, dodging laser fire while coordinating attacks with other strike teams. "Captain, their formation is breaking!" he shouted, voice tight with exhilaration and exhaustion. Elena's lips curved into a grim smile. "Good, keep pushing. Hit them where it hurts. Remember, every move counts. Every sacrifice counts. Humanity is not just fighting for survival. We are fighting for respect." The Varix opened fire with renewed fury, targeting the Vanguard directly. Elena ducked instinctively as one massive blast rocked the ship. Sparks flew across the bridge and crew members scrambled to repair critical systems. But Elena did not flinch. She stared at the viewport, at the sea of alien ships before her, and made a decision that could cost them all. "Prepare the assault team," she commanded. "We go for their command nexus. If we take it down, their fleet will crumble. Yes, the risk is high, but so is the reward. Humanity does not shrink from impossible odds." The crew nodded. Fear lingered in their eyes, but it was mingled with determination. Each human knew the stakes. They knew that failure meant death, but they also knew that success meant proving something fundamental about their species. That humans, when pushed to the edge, could rise higher than anyone ever expected. As the assault team launched in small, agile ships, the Variks concentrated their fire on the approaching humans. Explosions ripped through space around them. One strike team lost contact immediately, vaporized before they could reach the target. But others pressed on, weaving through debris, dodging enemy fire, and adapting in ways no machine could predict. Elena watched anxiously, her heart pounding, as the assault team closed in on the Nexus. The Variks realized the danger too late. Their formations faltered as human ships exploited weak points, hitting supply lines, weapons arrays, and shield generators. Panic spread through the Variks fleet, a sensation they had never truly felt before. For a moment, the universe seemed to hold its breath. The Vanguard and its crew surged forward, striking at the heart of the enemy. Explosions shook the void, but the humans pressed on, unstoppable. Elena felt a surge of pride and grief all at once. Pride for her crew's bravery, grief for the lives already lost. Every ship destroyed was a life, and every life mattered deeply. Then a breakthrough. The assault team reached the Nexus and planted their charges. The countdown began. Every second stretched, each heartbeat loud in Elena's ears. Around her, human ships fought desperately to hold off the Variks while the timer ticked down. Finally, the Nexus erupted in a brilliant, silent explosion. The Variks' command system collapsed. Their fleet plunged into chaos. Ships collided, weapons misfired, and the disciplined alien armada was thrown into disarray. Humanity had struck at the heart of their enemy, and for the first time the hunters had become the hunted. Elena exhaled slowly, feeling a mixture of exhaustion and triumph. She knew the battle was far from over, but this was the turning point. Humanity had proven something that could never be forgotten. When cornered, desperate, and underestimated, humans could achieve the impossible. She looked at her crew, battered, weary, but alive. In their eyes shone the fire of victory, the pride of survival, and the unyielding courage that defined their species. Humanity had reached the heart of the battle, and they had survived. The aftermath of the explosion at the Variks command nexus was chaos. Alien ships collided, weapons misfired, and their fleet, once a wall of precision, now moved like a broken formation. Captain Elena Rios watched from the bridge of the SS Vanguard, her eyes reflecting both fire and sorrow. Humanity had struck a decisive blow, but the battle was far from over. Every second mattered. Every decision could mean victory or death. Lieutenant Marco Tan guided the SS Resolute through a cluster of burning wreckage. "Captain, the Variks are retreating in disarray, but they're regrouping around the outer perimeter," he reported, his voice tense but filled with hope. Elena nodded. "Then we follow. We cannot let them recover. Humanity fights until the end. Strike teams, prepare for coordinated attacks. We push forward, we cut them off, and we remind them why we cannot be ignored." Her voice carried authority, and even in the fear that lingered among her crew, determination sparked. The human fleet moved with calculated speed, taking advantage of the confusion in the Variks ranks. Small strike teams darted between larger vessels, targeting weak points identified during the chaos. Engineers modified weapons mid-battle, turning damaged systems into improvised cannons. Pilots performed maneuvers that defied conventional tactics. Every human ship acted like a single organism, moving with a fluidity born from courage, creativity, and necessity. In the heart of the alien fleet, panic grew. The Variks had never experienced such unpredictability. Their most advanced algorithms failed to anticipate human improvisation. Their greatest weapons, their most deadly fighters, were now being destroyed by pilots who seemed almost reckless. Yet every reckless move was precise, intentional, and devastating. Elena's gaze fell on her crew, each one straining under exhaustion yet refusing to yield. She felt a surge of pride that was stronger than any fear. Humanity had always been underestimated. Other civilizations had seen humans as fragile, illogical, even weak. And yet here they were, standing tall in the void, striking at the heart of an empire that had believed itself untouchable. "Captain, the outer perimeter is almost breached," analyst Juna Patel reported. "If we push now, we can force the remaining fleet to retreat entirely." We have the advantage, but losses will be heavy. Elena's hands tightened on the railing. Then we take that risk. Humanity never retreats when victory is within reach. Prepare all units. We hit them where it hurts. We hit them with everything we have. Explosions lit the void as human ships advanced, weaving through enemy fire with daring maneuvers. Some ships were lost, torn apart in seconds, and their crews were gone, but their sacrifice fueled the determination of those still fighting. Each fallen comrade became a symbol of the unbreakable human spirit, driving the rest forward with relentless force. The Variks realized too late that the humans were no longer cornered or desperate. They were hunters now, and the hunter's strike was relentless. Small strike teams sabotaged weapon systems, destroyed fuel lines, and disabled communications. Chaos spread through the alien ranks, and their previously disciplined fleet became a scattering storm of fire and wreckage. Elena allowed herself a brief, bitter smile. They warned us, she whispered to herself. They told us to leave. But humanity does not run from danger. We do not bow to threats, and now they will learn what it means to face us. The fleet pressed the attack, cutting off Variks' escape routes and forcing the remaining ships into surrender or destruction. Humanity's courage, ingenuity, and unyielding determination had flipped the battle. Where once they had fought just to survive, now they fought to claim the battlefield. As the vanguard moved through the chaos, Elena looked at the stars, now marked by the scars of war. Every explosion, every destroyed ship was a reminder of the cost, but also a testament to what humans could achieve when cornered and united. Humanity had turned the tide. Humanity had struck the turning blow, and the galaxy for the first time would take notice. The humans had proven that warnings ignored came at a price, but also that courage, spirit, and determination could overcome even the most advanced enemy. They had fought not just with weapons but with heart, and the Variks would never underestimate them again. The silence after the battle was deafening. Space, once filled with the roar of lasers and the shudder of explosions, now seemed empty, almost peaceful. Captain Elena Rio stood on the bridge of the SS Vanguard, staring at the stars scarred by fire and destruction. The human fleet had won a decisive victory, but the cost was heavy. Ships floated wrecked and smoking, and thousands of brave men and women were gone. Yet through the sorrow, a quiet pride filled her heart. Humanity had survived against impossible odds. Lieutenant Marco Tan moved alongside her, exhaustion written into every line of his face. "Captain, we did it," he said softly. "We actually did it. We're still standing." Elena nodded, though her eyes were wet. "Yes, we survived. But so many didn't. We honor them by continuing, by never forgetting what we are capable of when we stand together." Analyst Juna Patel walked past them, scanning the systems. "The Variks, they've retreated completely. Their fleet is broken. They will think twice before challenging humanity again. They underestimated us, and now they know." Elena allowed herself a small, bittersweet smile. Humanity had faced annihilation, and yet in the face of an enemy far more advanced, they had shown courage, creativity, and heart. It wasn't just their weapons or tactics that had won the day, it was their spirit. The Variks had been warned, but humans had chosen their own path, and now, the galaxy would remember it. As the fleet began repairs and rescue operations, the survivors moved quietly through the wreckage of their fallen comrades. Every ship carried stories of bravery, sacrifice, and ingenuity. Pilots who had danced through the chaos, engineers who had turned broken systems into weapons, and soldiers who had fought on the brink of death. All had contributed to this victory. And all had left behind memories that would not be forgotten. In the quiet moments, Elena spoke to her crew, her voice calm but filled with emotion. "We have seen what humans can do. We have been tested and we have risen. Never doubt yourselves. Never doubt what we can achieve together. Humanity does not give up. Humanity does not bow. We are survivors, and more than that, we are unstoppable when we choose to be." The words sank into the hearts of everyone present. They had lost much, but they had gained something more. Respect, not just from their own species, but from the wider galaxy. Word would spread of their courage, their defiance, their unbreakable spirit. The humans who had survived would carry this story forward. And the Variks, for the first time, would understand that humanity was not a race to be underestimated. Elena walked among her crew later, speaking quietly with those who had been injured, offering comfort to those who mourned. She saw tears, fear, but also determination. Humanity's strength was not just in surviving the battle, It was in how they stood tall afterward, rebuilding, caring, and remembering those who had fallen. Somewhere deep in the void, the remnants of the Varix fleet fled to unknown regions, carrying the message of human defiance. They had learned that warnings ignored could come at a terrible cost. But they had also learned that humans, when cornered, could rise like a storm, relentless and unyielding. Elena gazed out at the stars, her heart heavy but proud. Humanity had fought the impossible, had survived when many thought they would not, and had shown the galaxy what it truly meant to be human. They were explorers, fighters, and dreamers. They were relentless, courageous, and united. "We will rebuild," she whispered to herself, her voice barely audible. "We will remember, and we will never be underestimated again." The fleet moved forward, carrying the wounded, salvaging what they could, and honoring the fallen. Humanity had emerged from the fire, battered but alive, and somewhere far across the galaxy, the memory of their courage would ripple, a warning and a promise. Underestimate humanity at your own peril. Years had passed since the battle in Varix space, yet the memory of that day still burned brightly in the hearts of humans. Captain Elena Rios stood on the bridge of the SS Vanguard II, a newer, stronger vessel, watching the stars stretch endlessly before her. Humanity had rebuilt, evolved, and grown bolder. The galaxy now knew a truth the Varix and every other civilization could not ignore. Humans were not weak. Humans were relentless. Humans were unstoppable. The Varix had fled, scarred and humiliated. Their armada had been broken, their command structures shattered. They whispered of humanity across distant systems, sharing warnings like a dark legend. "They are not just survivors. They are hunters," they said. And the humans had embraced that title not with cruelty but with purpose. They had learned that warnings ignored could have consequences, and they had decided that those who threatened life, peace, or freedom would face the full force of human ingenuity and courage. Captain Elena turned to her crew, now veterans of countless skirmishes, explorers who had ventured where no human had dared. "We fight to protect, yes," she said, her voice calm but filled with fire. "But we also fight so the galaxy never forgets who we are. Humanity does not bow. Humanity does not surrender. And humanity hunts only when necessary but hunts without mercy if provoked." Her crew nodded. They had seen worlds burn and rise again. They had lost comrades, friends, and families, but they had never lost hope. They were human. They were courageous. They were a species that refused to be ignored. In the outer sectors, a Varix reconnaissance ship approached, unaware that the humans had already detected it long before it reached their space. The human fleet moved with silent precision, surrounding it in a way that was both beautiful and terrifying. The alien ship froze, realizing too late that it was no longer the predator. It was the prey. "We give you one chance." Elena spoke calmly into the comm, her voice carrying through the alien vessel. "Leave now. Return to your fleet. Never threaten humanity again." There was silence. Then a trembling acknowledgement. The Varix had learned a lesson they would never forget. Humanity's warning had been clear, their patience measured, and their response decisive. The hunter did not need to strike. They only needed to show their strength. Elena watched as the alien vessel retreated, and a sense of quiet satisfaction washed over her. Humanity had survived impossible odds, had fought through despair, and had emerged stronger than any civilization had imagined. They had taken the lessons of battle to heart. Courage, unity, ingenuity, and spirit were more powerful than the most advanced technology. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Humans were no longer just explorers, they were guardians, hunters, and warriors with hearts that burned like stars. Civilizations that once underestimated them now recalculated, reassessing the species that had turned warnings into victories. Humanity had proven that intelligence without courage was meaningless, that strength without heart was hollow, and that a spirit unbroken by fear was the deadliest force in the galaxy. Captain Elena's gaze drifted to the horizon of stars. She thought of the crew who had fallen, of the battles fought, and of the victories yet to come. Humanity had learned a hard lesson, that ignoring warnings came at a price, and they had learned an even greater one, that when united, determined, and brave, they could overcome anything. "The galaxy will remember us," Elena whispered, her voice soft but unwavering. "They will remember humanity. They will know that we do not yield, and they will fear the day they force our hand again." The human fleet moved on, gliding silently through the void, ready for whatever lay ahead. Ships repaired, crews trained, and spirits renewed. Humanity had become more than a species. It had become a symbol of hope, courage, and unyielding determination. A symbol that no threat, no warning, no force could ever suppress. Somewhere in the darkness, the Variks and other civilizations trembled at the thought of humans returning. They had been warned once. They would never forget again. Humanity hunted when necessary, fought with unrelenting spirit, and survived against all odds. And the galaxy, now and forever, knew this undeniable truth. Humanity was not to be underestimated. Humanity would hunt without mercy,